Hello and welcome to Portman Road. This sound indicates an important announcement.
Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to your Thursday night preview show. I am the host, the Governor. The Talking Town Bar is open. It's well stocked, ready for a huge weekend for Ipswich Town Football Club. So whatever you're drinking, we've got it in stock. Welcome in, Dawn. Glad you could make it. Josh Russell's in the building. James Yarton, welcome in. Stephen Parry, beat. Jimmy Bullard. How we wish we had a man like you in midfield this weekend. Matt Stannard, good evening. The legend that is Callie, King Callie, royalty. No less. He is joining us Saturday, 2:30 for the match day ticket preview show. Match day ticket show itself. This is the preview show. I've already been on the wines and spirits, as you can see. A good governor always samples the delivery when it arrives. So, on tonight's show, we have got latest news, courtesy of Henry Winter on Twitter in regards to Alan Judge's alleged comments. We will be unpacking that. We've got our Plymouth actual review. George Nunn's in the building. Welcome in, George. We've got Paul Cook. Such a funny guy. So laid back. So open. So honest. Such a refreshing change. Mike D, big glass of Shiraz for me. That's no problem. Coming right up, sir. We do say a huge thank you to all of our contributors on Ko-Fi that do make these shows happen. Whether you're a one-off contributor or a monthly contributor, we do thank you ever so much. Obviously, the monthly ones particularly. Thank you. If you do want to contribute, our link is in the chat. Joining me this evening is a last-minute stand-in. I'll bring him in first as he does an intro. Sadly, Amy Downs isn't too well. So this man here is now up top on his own. Can he run the channels? People on the dance floor, people on the dance floor, starting the drum. Finchy's gone for a Lucasade Orange. I'm not sure we've got that in stock, but we have got some Ribena for you, Finchy. Don't worry. Adam, welcome in. How you doing?
Good, Martin. How are you, mate? All right?
I'm very well. I'm hoping your gerbil router holds up and we get through a show without you disappearing more times than you, Deanie.
Same.
Look, I thank you for being here because you were a last-minute call-up. You were on the bench. You weren't happy. We had words in the managerial office, but you took it on the chin in the end. But you're here. You're live. It's 8:30. You're binning off EastEnders. You must be looking forward to this weekend of action, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's coal in the router, so we're good to go. Hopefully it doesn't conk out, or either my two children wake up halfway through the show. But hey ho, it's live.
Absolutely, and it's live as Martin Tyler often says. We were talking off air a second ago about the comments in regards to Alan Judge, or alleged comments from Henry Winter. We'll go through that a little bit more so. But you had your name, a certain name, didn't you? We'll tell the people instead of it being on the show the whole time. What was your name?
I was down as well the name that Alan Judge threw at poor Mr. Drysdale, the bald see you next Tuesday, as I'm also phonically challenged like Mr. Drysdale.
Yeah.
But as a few of us on here are, Mike, and other such members as well, follically challenged. That's an odd story. I think so much has been blown out of that. Really, it's blown up far more than it needs to be. But
well, we'll go through that obviously in a little bit more detail in a second. But Lee Anderson wants lemonade and no fig roll. Look, Lee, if you have it in lemonade, fig rolls come as standard. It's on the menu. Please read the menu next time. Cruncher's here. Cruncher, he's back from his little expedition out and about. Did you enjoy? I heard you had a troll, Cruncher. I heard you had a troll. That was me, for those that don't know. I was in the stream of Cruncher on this, I think it was a League One podcast, and they were talking about Paul Lambert. So, of course, you mention his name, I shall appear. It's just one of those rules. And yeah, poor Crunch. You were great, though, Crunch. Neil Ipswich was a pint of Director's Bitter, please, barman. Okay. Trolling. Yeah. Well, Troll's got a troll. And that. Let's complete our trio this evening. We are joined by a brand new contributor. I'm thoroughly delighted she is with us this evening. It is Vicky. Vicky, welcome in.
Good evening.
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. I've told you off. Yeah, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. 2 more appearances and you get an intro. Because then we get to start the feel of what sort of character you are, and we can give you a gimmick, and we can give you a nickname, and we can give you an intro. I know Jordan, the legend of Lowestoft, buy one, get one free. Here's that update, Adam, by the way. I didn't know that about the guy.
He's a naughty guy, him.
I didn't know that.
I forget what his name was, but yeah, he's fraud, wasn't it? I think he got
sadly, yeah, it was. Dawn Sapseed, welcome. Vicky, Mike D, welcome. Neil's got a partridge joke. Banter. It's just great banter. That's about as much as I can do of partridge. Vicky, are you a partridge fan?
No.
Mid-morning. I think the one I watched, Mid Morning Matters, was that on Sky. I think that was okay. Are you a partridge fan there, Adam?
Massive partridge fan.
Are you?
Partridge, yeah, it's brilliant.
So what if you had the mic to say to Neil there at a comeback, what would you come back with?
Oh, what would I come back with? I don't know. Is Neil doing? Is Neil watching this show and the Linton Travel Tavern, perchance?
Oh, even I know that one. That's pretty good. Cruncher, we all hate Leeds. Yes, for those at home, let's have a little story because Leeds nearly made an appearance on this podcast, didn't they, Vicky?
They did, and they were banned straight out. My husband is a Leeds fan, and he just had to get in with his shirt. Just couldn't leave it alone, could he?
Is it because they got a podcast of their own? Oh,
no,
little old Leeds. Little old Leeds. As I said to you, we have to burn something. I mean, the poster is currently built, but we could burn a Leeds shirt instead. I'd be more than happy to keep my Paul Lambert poster. I really would. Now, talking of Paul Lambert, his predecessor, let's start with Paul Cook. Let's start on a good note, I think, actually. So let's have a little bit of a change to the lineup. Paul Cook, Adam, you were very impressed with him this week in his press conferences. What really stood out for you with the new guy?
I think it's like you said in your intro, Martin. It's a refreshing change to listen to a manager that sounds like they actually enjoy their job. Glad to be here, happy to be here, and yeah, I think his whole attitude and everything is so different to Lambert's. It's completely chalk and cheese, and just a couple of the things that he mentioned about what attracted him to the job, his man management skills, how he doesn't strike me as the kind of man that's going to make excuses about the hand that he's dealt, which is good. So yeah, I was really impressed with what he had to say this week.
Okay, Dawn says, the more I hear Paul Cook speak, the more I fall in love with him. Now, Vicky, you said in regards to Paul Lambert about a turd and some glitter. I won't repeat it. But what is your, because I can't quite remember it word for word. I want to get it right. It was good. But what is your opinion of Paul Cook this first week now, is it in?
Yeah, I like him. I like his positivity. As I said on the pod on it was just in the comments on Tuesday, I think it was. We've got a different chef, but we have still got the same ingredients. So it's interesting to see how he's going to work with that. But he does change things around a little bit when things aren't working. So I do like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, and there's lots of ingredients. And as he alluded to this week, Vicky, that sometimes when you've got lots of ingredients, now he didn't say this, I'm going to say this, a few can go off, and so you've got to manage them. You've got to put your arm around them or manage them a certain way. And maybe Paul Lambert didn't, my words again. He's right when he says that, isn't he? There's lots of players who his man management in these next 14 to 16 games. It's going to be so important for the football club and how well it does, isn't it?
Yeah. But maybe Lambert didn't have an interpreter. Maybe that's where we went wrong.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know he's Scottish, Vicky. He's not talking Martian.
I could understand that.
As a Lambert myself, obviously, I can speak a wee bit of Scottish, but that was as much as I'm going to do.
Don't do any more, Martin. Don't do any more. We have thin ice with the Scottish Town supporters right now.
I've been on the sauce, and I must have been. But he's right, though, isn't he, Adam? The man management is going to be so vital next few weeks.
Definitely. I mean, he mentions Caden Jackson specifically, doesn't he? Because I think we're going to need him soon. Isn't Norwood's in the dock, isn't he, on Tuesday? So he can't play at Fleetwood. So yeah, I think it's important that he brings him back in from the cold, and also with players like use Emma Hughes as an example. I wonder what kind of position he was. He was in the squad under Lambert. He was completely bombed out. Does he get brought back in? Does he get an arm around the shoulder to say, look, I don't need you next year, but I'm going to include you. We're going to help you find another club. I don't know. What kind of conversations are being had. The kids, the young players, bringing them back into the fold. Because you got to think someone like Dobra. I know he divides opinion with the fan base. Some people think he's maybe a little bit overrated or he's better than he actually is. But I wonder what he must have thought when we carried no goal threat and he doesn't even get on the bench. He might be now included, into the fold. And Lancaster's got his chance the other night. So, yeah, I think also is what you got to think. He's coming into this situation, a sort of maybe not so unique, but the situation that he's coming into here, he's got 15 games now?
Yeah.
And they're not free hits. They're competitive fixtures that have got a lot riding on them as well. So they're not dead rubbers. And he's got a chance to look at the squad in proper competitive, top end League One fixtures. So it's good. He'll certainly know in sort of 5-10 games time, he'll know exactly who he wants to keep, exactly who he wants to let go, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Adam mentioned Dobra there, Vicky, and it's a great point. Isn't the squad size, I think he's got 25 or more senior players. That just stunts the development of young players like Dobra, like Gibbs, like McGavin. It just they can't ever get a consistent run of games or even a game because there's just so many mouths to feed, isn't there?
There's so many people in that squad that we're not really playing as a cohesive team because we're not a team, because it's different people every week. Albeit under Cook, it's slightly less than the Lambert lottery. But yeah, we definitely need a smaller squad that we can play people week in, week out, and we can develop them.
Yeah, and that's what Andy Holt said on the show a couple of weeks ago about how that's what Accrington do with their such a small squad. You're going to get a chance. And do you think the size of the squad, Vicky, actually speaks more about the owner or the leadership of the football club and how there's no recruitment plan, there's no plan about anything? Because how has a manager got into the position where he was allowed to have 25 senior players?
No idea. I think it was just they got scared, didn't they? And they just was like picking people from different places. We had, we went for like the scraps of other people's, what other football clubs didn't want.
Yes,
like
true.
Take Hawkins, for example. He couldn't play for his team, but yet we got him. What does that say about us? It's the scraps of other people.
Scrap Heap Challenge.
Our own team.
Absolutely, Scrap Heap Challenge on a Sunday night, 5:30. Great show. But that's what we are. We're trying to build a promotion raft, Adam, off the scraps of other people. I love it.
It's a mismatch of three different managers' players, though, isn't it? This squad. I mean, even I think Chambers is probably one goes back to I think Jewell signed Chambers. I'm just trying to think if there's any players in that squad that McCarthy signed. Just trying to thinking off the top of my head if there was any players, but there's definitely obviously the Hurst players, Lambert signings, youngsters that have been here probably throughout all these regime changes. You know, they were here under Mick, they were here under Hurst, they were here under Lambert. So it's just a complete a mess. 50 odd professional players on the books, and then you compare it to some other clubs in our league who've got like 20. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And as I say, as you mentioned, Martin, the recruitment at this football club, we've spoken about this before. It's garbage, and I hope that Paul Cook has been promised or assured that that's either going to be revamped or it's going to be invested in for what he needs to do.
But isn't the issue, Adam? He almost can't, unless you've got investment in the football club, be it by Marcus or the consortium, you almost can't because you've not quite hit reset. I mean, 15 players are out of contract now. Even if you let all of those go, you've still got another 10. With youngsters coming through again, another year on to their development, and you almost need to lose 20, or a big number like that really allows you to reset truly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many of our players are going to be wanted by other clubs. I can't imagine there'll be a huge queue for some of our players. So no, you're right. You know, we could do with twice that amount of players being out of contract. It would certainly help. But I suppose that figure is skewed by a lot of youngsters. There's a lot of youth team players that who are now on pro contracts that are included in that. So that might skew the figures a bit. But I mean, it'd be interesting to look at what Lincoln did in the summer because they had a similar situation, didn't they? While all the clubs were posturing over what to do with the COVID season last year, Lincoln cracked on, released loads of players, and signed loads. And look at them. I mean, I thought they weren't as good as I thought they might be, but you could tell they looked a well-drilled outfit on Tuesday night. Definitely.
5 players missing, Adam.
Yeah, exactly. And they still looked fairly solid, didn't they? And they well coached. Similar situation to us last year. Michael Appleton came in sort of back end of the season. He had a bit of time to play with, knew who he wanted to keep, who he didn't, and they had a plan. They cracked on with it, and they've still got a really good chance of getting automatic promotion. So if there's a blueprint to take, that's what we ought to be looking to do. As soon as that season finishes, crack on and start for next year.
Yeah, it lists the plan, isn't it, Vicky? Yeah, exactly. And isn't that more?
There we go.
Isn't that more what this investment or new or consortium or whoever comes in and runs the football club? Isn't that actually more what as fans? Do you know what? We've never been a football club that's thrown money after it or thrown money up the wall or paid for a £20 million strike. We've never been that football club. Even in the glory days, that wasn't really who we were. We just need a new voice, a new leader, a new plan, something that as fans this summer you can get behind because it's new. You don't know it. You don't know the tried, tested old cliches. You don't know we're going to do this or we'll work hard to do. You just need something new, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Love it.
We need some injection of energy and some passion. And even if we don't sign anybody, which I really hope we do, but even if we didn't, at least we know what we're working with and we're getting rid of the dead wood.
Absolutely, yeah. Facebook user. He's. Remember when Man City had 8 strikers? We got too many midfielders. Ashley Bell, who broke the duck on Tuesday. He came on for the first time. Good to see you, Ash. Talking to people who come on all the time. Here he is, fresh off his troll. Oh, you can't have those trolls in your chat, Crunch.
I was talking about that poster. I said he's going to burn it, but I still don't know when he's going to burn it because I think they're on there, mate. And it's like, when you're a child and you have that little blanket.
I was watching.
You have that little blanket, that comfort blanket. You have to go to bed. And then your mum tries and takes it away from you. It's like that Lambert poster. Get it gone.
I'll get you gone again in a minute. Look, right? As I asked you.
These lovely hoodies.
They are top work. But as I asked you on that stream there, right? And I asked the chat and I asked, what was the last 3 games like, Crunch?
Yeah, Matt Gill's in charge.
Oh, fuck off with that rubbish, really. You can't prove that. They can't prove that. Look, we're talking about squad size, 25 senior players. How do we get to that position, Crunch?
I thought it's 31.
Well, according to the report I've just read, it's over 25. So you say 31, that's even worse. I like it. We'll take it. We'll grab it. Let's run with it. 31. How do we get there?
We've got 6 loan players. This strikes me, Martin, of the time. Do you remember when Paul Gill, when he come to did he have 7 loans?
Mercenary FC under Paul Gill, wasn't it?
Loans coming out of our ears, and it smacks just of that. But it's going to be a complete reset in the summer, and it is exciting. It is exciting, and them players now, they should be in games to go. Look, Paul, they know what's happening there.
I've got no idea.
They know that they're playing for their futures.
They are. We are. You haven't got a great line, so I'm going to drop you out again. Sorry, Crunch. I'll try and bring back in again in a second, but I am hearing crackling. Whether that's you or not, I don't know. We'll try and sort it out as we go. Spring Bing Gill is a tactical genius. Where is this Matt Gill? I like Matt Gill. I love Matt Gill. I think he's a great coach, but I think we're bigging him up more than he needs to be. What else impressed you this week about Cook then, Adam?
I quite liked what he said about when I asked him. So I've been making notes. Look, that's how prepared I am, Martin. At the drop of a hat, there I was beavering away in the kitchen. I like the fact that he said that, when I asked him how long he think, if he'd get any, how many transfer windows he think it would take, and he made a joke about that, and then he said he just needs 1 pre-season and 1 transfer window, and I thought that was really good. So a man that clearly knows what he needs to do and what he needs to achieve. When other managers are like, "Oh, judge me after 2 transfer windows, judge me in the second season." Paul Cook's saying there, once I have pre-season, once I have a transfer window, bosh, here we go. Then you can start to judge me properly. So I quite like that. I quite like that sort of honesty. And I just also like that he talks to people and he talks to us as fans that, on the level, doesn't take us that we're stupid, no banging on about big clubs that I've played for. Really good to hear. Really enjoyed that.
There we go. We have cleared the crackling up, so I thank you very much. I think it was Adam's McDonald's Wi-Fi. Let's be honest, it's always Adam.
But it definitely was. It must have been, even if it wasn't.
No, it was 100%. But you're right. He says 1 window and one pre-season. Vicky, what do you make of that? Listening to that, because I think he needs more than that. I think he's being too optimistic.
Nah, I don't. I think we've got, when you strip the club, the players back, I think we have a decent squad, and I think that it's workable. That if he gets a couple of players in this summer, strengthen the back, get a striker and get a goalkeeper, we'll be right. I think we'll be right.
Goalkeeper. Lots of debate this week on Thomas Holy. Where do you stand? Obviously, you say you need a new goalkeeper, so you can't rate him that highly.
I like Holy. I think he's a genuinely nice guy, but a shit goalkeeper. I mean, let's face it. Come on, the post has more movement than he does. He's rigid. He is so rigid. He can't get down. He's all right saving them in the top corners, but oh my God, he's got no movement.
I've got arthritis in my back, and I think I move quicker than him sometimes. Crunch, welcome back. Thomas Holy.
I want to ask Vicky what her favourite biscuit is anyway.
I don't really eat biscuits.
Oh, come on. Biscuits it was all over the chat. Get them fig rolls. Them fig rolls in the bin. Oh.
Top 3 biscuit fig roll.
Fig roll is not a biscuit. It's not a biscuit. Right. Ask it in the chat. Is a fig roll a biscuit?
I couldn't care what. I don't. It's my sort of biscuit. That's the most important thing.
It's like Jaffa cakes. It's like Jaffa cakes, not a biscuit.
But they're lush. They're nice.
No, they're not.
Overrated Jaffa cakes.
Jaffa cakes will always hold a dear place in my heart. Always. because
They're lush.
that is what broke the ice between me and my
Hey, look,
now wife.
no, I think everyone's saying no. Fig
No
rolls
to
are
what?
not a biscuit.
I've never had a fig roll, but
Ben
I
Moore.
don't
Never
like
had a
it.
fig roll?
Nah.
Ben Moore, look at Ben Moore. Go on, Ben.
No, but what are Jaffas? Even Jaffa cakes don't know what Jaffa cakes are. Like they literally box themselves up and go, "Are we making biscuits or cakes?" They don't know. They don't know. Anyway, Cruncher, Paul Cook, how impressed are you this week with him?
I love how he speaks. He's so honest. Dog biscuits. He's so honest. From what it's like chalk and cheese from having Paul Lambert, and now you've got Paul Cook. My mum said, "Have you got your new poster there?"
No.
Oh, why?
No, I know. Hang on. Let me call management down, and I'll have it within 30 seconds. I promise you. Carry on talking, sir.
Even my mum said she can understand what Paul Cook is saying because you needed subtitles, didn't you?
Yes. Yes.
You did. Yes, you did.
Nay normal. Play for big clubs. Don't feel pressure. There you
Incredible.
go. There you go. So you did know what he was talking about.
Yeah, but he was talking bollocks because he'd say, wouldn't he? We play so well. Vicky, you're allowed to swear. Don't worry about anyone saying that you can't. Saying it was incredible for months, and then all of a sudden after the Northampton game, he came out and said we've not played well for weeks. Oh. Well, hello. We knew that, didn't we? But getting back to Paul Cook,
full of shit.
He was. Getting back to Cook, he's a scouser. He's got a great sense of humour, and I could listen to him all day.
I think we need to look. Warren, Watson, Ham, whoever's watching, you all watch. Ask the questions at the press conference. We all want to know. What does he have with his coffee? Is it a bourbon? Is it a fig roll?
What he needs, though, Martin, really, Paul Cook, is a Talking Town mug.
That is
what he needs. That's what he needs.
Oh, that is what he. Yes, he does.
Yeah,
there's an opportunity there.
But like everyone, he's got to pay for one. So it's
not for free.
No freebies given away
unless he comes on the pod.
One summer, we're going way off track here. I love it. This is a wild one. This one. One summer, one pre-season is what he needs. He reckons there, Crunch. Adam, and Vicky. Vicky says yes, 100%. I'm still not sure. What about you?
Yeah, he needs time to implement his style, and he can. All he can do at the minute now is motivate them. Really, he's got to keep everyone on side. Because, like Stuart Slater said on Tuesday, when players are not playing, Martin, have you got it?
I've got it. Thank you,
Which
management.
one?
Which one do you want?
Is it Chambers one?
No. Don't worry. You know what one you've got to show first.
Right. Well, the one that made me laugh the most.
Can we have a drum roll?
Was this one? You ready for this one?
It's fucking brilliant.
I thought someone was having a right wind up. I thought, what? It was sent me that. Oh no. To be fair, they've both scored now.
2 goals, isn't it? Is that it?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And then this one, obviously, is to replace the Paul Lambert one that sadly will be, in a trash can with ruins.
Look at that.
Look at the quality, though. Look at the quality of that one.
It's not too bad.
Nice gloss finish there. Look, he's buzzing to be there, buzzing to be town manager. Look at him.
Now, I'm not sure how I'm going to use this one as a prop, really, because, well, I'm not quite sure of him, but the rest of you lot are, so I'm not sure. And then we've got the last one there, look, completing it. That is a beautiful one, that one.
Look, he spoke very well today. I thought he spoke well, Martin. His mum and dad have had COVID. His dad's not very well at the minute. And he spoke really well about fans, and obviously fans back in the stadiums. Everyone likes it. Everyone likes it. They won't be. I reckon that Hawkins will be back in soon. He'll be back in the squad.
I've got a question for you all, right? If this consortium take charge, how quickly would these two be out of Portman Road?
He's drying and out of contract. Is he one of the?
Yeah, he's out of contract.
Is he one of the 20 or whatever? Yeah, he'll be
Americans,
gone. He'll go.
Don't think contract
Hawkins
the Americans, Adam. Really, let's be honest.
What I'd like to know
is it what you? I'm sorry, Vicky.
That's all right. What possessed Lambert to look at our squad and then think we need Hawkins?
He needs Hawkins.
What the fuck?
It wasn't just him. This is where everyone and I'll stick up for Martin here. This is where everyone bags Lambert off. It's the fucking owner to get shit signings like this. If he's still here, I said, Vicky, if he's still here in 2 years' time, Evans, we'll be having the same conversation about Paul Cook that we had about Lambert, that we had about Mick, that we had about Hurst, that we had about Jewell, because the same things will happen, and it comes down to the owner. It was interesting, though, today, Martin, when he said he came here not because the academy, it was more to work with Marcus. Strange.
Yeah.
I noticed that. I thought that was really strange.
Yeah.
What do you expect him to say?
Oh, yeah,
When he's
I know.
asked about, the question, like he's not going to say, "I came here because I was told there's shitload of cash coming, and Marcus was first out of the door." He's not going to, Marcus is not going anywhere. We believe with the 5%, so you're still going to have to see him in the corridor from time to time. Like he ain't going to say anything.
Be on a yacht somewhere.
No, I think
You're in some volcano, Martin.
We're entering some
the
Twilight
Bond villain
Zone
that he
stuff
is.
here. But I think Marcus does care. I think after 13 years, you naturally do care. I just don't think he's very
good.
I
Yes.
cannot believe that Marcus went to Lambert and said, "Let's go get Hawkins." Nah.
No,
That's
No,
where
no,
the
no,
shopping
It's
is.
just dawdling, isn't it? It's dawdling.
We're in the
It's dawdling
bargain bin
into
at Home
Amsterdam.
Bargains, Vicky. We're in the bargain bin at Home Bargains with a yellow fucking sticker on.
They
There
were
you go.
dawdling, weren't they?
Oh, look, there's
They were
Hawkins.
dawdling and pissing around. They were, they didn't do any of those deals until after. I know it's not a thing now, but until after the salary cap was a thing. They could have cracked on. We're too busy. Marcus Evans was too busy trying to get us into a weird playoff shootout by finishing 11th or 12th than actually sitting down and actually concentrating on the recruitment. And getting a steal on everyone else. Instead, we had to sign 3 players after the salary cap came in. We were completely hamstrung because we, again, behind the curve on absolutely everything that we do. So
Martin, I've got
Just
something to
so
ask Martin. If anyone mentions Scouse in the chat, can you throw him out?
I can.
Fucking get rid of that twat. No, he shouldn't be playing. Come on.
He'll
We
be-
ain't that
I-
desperate.
I don't agree. I agree with you, Crunch, but I've got a feeling that when he's fit, he'll be back in the squad. I really do.
God.
I do. I think now, if our midfield is struggling to, like they got bullied
depressing.
against Gillingham, I do think that they might bring him in. I really do. I can see.
He was in the team.
I could see
Adam, he was in
bringing
the
him
team that got bullied against Rotherham last season.
I know.
So-
How many career bookings
just-
has he got? He's hardly Lee Catamole, is he? Like I'd rather have Lee Catamole. Liam Bridcut. Give me somebody who can kick somebody.
Look, I don't agree. I don't agree that he should be. I think it's a failing on the club's part that he's still around. They should have replaced him twice over by now. They should have had a steely, hard bastard who can play in this league. Because I don't think Flynn Downs is that player. We say he's that ball winner. I don't think he's that steely, hard bloke that's got 200 games at this level.
Is Boggins playing Saturday?
Who's going to stick one on someone?
Is Boggins in the team Saturday, Adam?
Well, you're in the know, aren't you? In the know, Crunch.
Andre Boggins.
I got a comment here. So I wanted just to flag a minute. I'm so confident. I'm going to come back to it. James Yarnton, watch Drinnan turn into Kiefer Moore when he leaves. If he does that, I'll do this podcast in my underpants, my friend. I'm so confident that Aaron Drinnan is not going to be anywhere near what Kiefer Moore is.
The thing with Kiefer Moore is he was well off it when he was here. He was well off it. He was nowhere
He still
near-
looked more right than Drinnan does.
He
He
might well
didn't.
have done.
He was shit, Adam. He was shit when he came.
Sometimes-
I think I'm on at Norwich.
He looked like he won a competition at Norwich. That's what it was like. And the thing is, sometimes players need to leave a football club to progress their career. Jack Marriott had to leave. Jordan Wright. Sometimes these lads have to leave to progress their football careers. And, it is frustrating when you see them crack up. Like you look at Conor Hourihane. We had him under Keane, didn't we?
Yeah.
Now he was playing in the Premier League for Villa the other season. Look, it doesn't work for some football players.
It
at
won't work
certain
for him.
clubs.
That's
It doesn't
for sure,
fit.
I can promise.
But yeah,
If
I
it
think
does,
trying
you
to
lot need to all turn off because you don't want to see this in his underwear. Believe me, he ain't son. You want on a Thursday night. There's not enough alcohol in the TT Tavern that can make that right.
Just changing subject, Martin. Have you seen Russell Clayton's post
big
about
robbery.
Darren Drysdale?
I did.
You got the wrong ref,
Have you
didn't you,
seen
in
the
the
picture?
picture?
Have you seen the picture?
Speaking
I
of
said
which,
to Russell, that's not Darren Drysdale, and that is him. He's on the gear. Fucking big time.
Speaking of which, tomorrow my article is out. So for those that would like to read it, thank you very so much. It is out tomorrow. I will be retweeting it. So watch my Twitter or head to the news page of last week. I'm looking forward to that. Talking of which, Alan Judge, let's bring Beep Beep in. He can join the conversation with Alan Judge. So before we went live, Henry Winter, Darren Drysdale to the FA Commission. Let's go through these tweets. Alan Judge exaggerates his... Sorry?
Who's Matt Phillips has got Henry Winter on his CV. Did we all know that?
He'd be a good guest to have on, Henry Winter. He'd be good. You get him on.
Well, if anyone can, Matt can. Alan Judd exaggerates his fall in a desperate attempt to gain a penalty. I don't remember that incident, but I'm not going to say it's a lie or it's wrong. I then proceed what had happened for a few seconds before blowing my whistle and decided to caution Alan Judd for an act of trying to deceive. Oh, actually, I do remember him falling over now. Yeah, you're right. To see the match official. As I blew my whistle, Alan Judge shouted aggressively in a loud voice at me from a distance of only about 5 meters. It's a beeping penalty, you cheating bold beep. Reacting completely out of character, I took exception to what I consider to be an offensive comment. He doesn't classify which one is the offensive comment.
Which one he's most annoyed about.
Probably bold. But I walked towards Alan Judge, who then continued to use tirade of abuse as he then, what I deemed as aggressively and provokingly, pointed his finger towards my face and shouted, "You're a beeping, cheating beep." What do we think about that then? I could go on, but...
Why didn't you send him off then?
Exactly.
There we go. Exactly.
Red card.
Well,
He sends Downs off 2 minutes later for foul and abusive language, doesn't he? So bizarre.
The thing is, we're all hearing football matches now, and I watch them on the telly as well with no crowds in. Yeah, this guy must be in the wrong job then if he gets triggered over that, because every single match is virtually 18 rated. You know, you can hear it everywhere from everyone. So nobody be on the pitch if that were the case. You know, everyone's swearing at the referee, so calling them something. You know, so that's why they can't mark them up, because there'd be too much bad language. They wouldn't be able to broadcast it. You know, so
Could be on hope for.
Can you mic? Could you mic them up, Jimmy, and just not release it to the public? So the FA. Then again, that doesn't mic in this instance help, because yes, we know Alan Judge is Irish, but you know, just because you hear a voice doesn't mean it's necessarily from that particular person, right? On a mic.
Because if you mic it up and then release it afterwards, people will be going, well, it's manipulated. It has to be live. It has to be like it is in rugby. It has to be there and now, and you see the person's mouth move. If it's released afterwards, it'll be like, well, you fiddled with that. How do I know that was actually not manipulated? You know that the ways of technology these days, you know, someone will say it. They're doing it now with VAR, saying that after that mistake on Man City game the other day, you know, we'll release out what the conversations is. And people are saying that's not good enough because that's after the fact. We want it now. So it doesn't work unless it's instant. You just got to believe it as it is and just get referees who just don't get triggered. End of. Because the action was wrong.
No, Matt Stannard, they'd never be able to mic up refs. I said on Sunday, I talked about this, Martin, about Dermot Gallagher. Do you remember when they mic'd him up away Millwall at Arsenal? And Tony Adams in his squeak, "You're a cheat, you're a fucking cheat," in his squeaky voice, booked him. You wouldn't be able to have any live football on the TV, because look, when you watch a game now on Sky, and if anyone swears, what do they say? "Sorry if we offended anybody." What are they going to do then? What are they going to be doing then?
You haven't got to release it though, have you?
We could have it on the red button, couldn't you, maybe?
Just because
listen to the ref on the red button, put password in.
Yeah, but we don't get their heartbeat readouts, do we? Like, there are things in football you do not get access to. Why not mic a ref, mic the players up even, and not release it? Like, you don't have to release it. I'm just
like Vicky said, though, Martin. If that's what he said to him, the swearing ain't. That's not the problem to me. If he's called him a cheat, he should be off for that.
Well, yes, he should be booked. He should have been sent off for it. If that was the case.
He said he's booked him. He said he's booked him for diving. He said he's booked him for diving, Stephen. That's why he booked him. He didn't book him for the language.
Because they turn around and said, we tried to contact Alan Judge and he did not respond. You know, well, let's wait till he responds first. It's as if like Alan Judge has said it, and he's not even given his response. He might not even have bloody said it. This comes from a journalist, from some annoyed referee, yeah, who's trying to come out with some feeble defence for overreacting, yeah. And this is heart by a journalist. No one at the club said it. Alan Judge said that. No other player has said said that, and Alan Judge hasn't said he's done that. So let's wait until someone actually confirms he did actually say that.
I think, is it about time, Adam, we put referees, whether we like them or not, on a pedestal? And things like this. What Mike, because I've always for a long time agreed with what Mike D says here about they should be more accountable and public, blah blah. But actually, is it not about time we put referees above reproach in this football in football, like rugby, for example? You don't get referees being questioned in rugby, full stop. It just doesn't happen. They are the final word, and that's it. What they say goes.
No, certainly, I think they should be held account if there's debatable decisions.
Public.
I mean, you know, no. I think having some journalists thrusting a mic in their face after the game might be a little bit too much. But you know, sometimes their decisions can alter people's careers, can alter managers' jobs and stuff like that. They make a poor decision, and it changes the course of a season. And next thing you know,
Taylor.
it's
Lino.
You know,
Lino, you just cost me my job, Lino.
Precisely. So you know, and you can't say anything about them at all. You know, managers come out and well, I have to be careful about what I say here because I'm going to get into trouble. But yeah, I think they certainly should be. They should be held to account. More visibly for everybody to see. But in terms of Drysdale, I mean, is he really I mean, he must have been called a bold see you next Tuesday quite a few times, refereeing. I mean, that must have been thrown in quite a few times.
In the army. He's been in the army. He must have got it there, hasn't he? Come on.
Of course he has, you know. And do you know what? There is a part of me that would have liked to have just seen him chin Judge straight away. I think that would have been brilliant. I think it would have been great. You don't talk to me like that. Bang. That would have been amazing.
Smith Post, according to Sky, Ipswich did reply to the charge saying Ipswich's club secretary said the player denied using a specific swear word towards Drysdale, but agreed he had used other offensive language. So in that case,
but the referee must hear that, and if that offends him, then he really shouldn't be in that job, should he?
No.
So we're a panel. You're the FA panel. What do you decide in this case? What do you see that is a fit and proper way of? Do you go and issue the player now with a fine or a suspension or anything like that, or do you leave that? Do you issue Drysdale with a final suspension or leave that? What is your course of action from here if you were the FA panel? God forbid.
Well, if I read it,
Drysdale was banned for 4 games, wasn't he? And that's already happened, I think. So that's done. I think
he can come back now.
Is there any retrospective action against Judge? But if he's saying that that's not what he said, then it's a mess, isn't it?
McDonald's Wi-Fi.
How do you prove it? How do you prove that he said that? It's one word.
You think mine? They could bring in like in rugby, where the captain's the only person allowed to speak to the referee.
The big difference is that's how it's supposed to be anyway. But the big difference is between everybody brings up the rugby analogy. You know, rugby it's a different game, and it's 100%. It's also not as much money in rugby. Yeah, so the referee and the players are more on an equal footing. You know, let's take the Premier League for example.
It comes down to respect, though. It comes down to respect, Stephen. It doesn't matter about the amount of money. They have more respect in rugby.
When a player's on £500,000 a week and a referee's getting £7,000 for a game, trust me, that player has no respect for that referee. He's better than he is because he's on £500,000. You know, and that's where it's going to. In rugby, it doesn't matter so much. In the England game, it probably doesn't matter as much. That's why we don't have much discipline problems in the England game. But in club football, some of these referees are treated like dirt because some of the players think they are dirt.
Try reffing on a Sunday morning. You say about club football. Who wants to ref on a Sunday morning when people have been out on the piss? You've played on Sunday mornings, Martin, haven't you?
I have.
They've been out on the lash, hungover. You get paid about 35 quid to turn up to get a load of abuse.
Oh, that's not a professional game, is it? That's people gone out on the last night before, isn't it? You know, there's a reason why people are aggressive then. You know, this is a professional player.
Yeah. What I would say though, Jimmy, is actually what you see on a Sunday with the men and what you see on a Saturday with the young players, the children, is actually a symptom of what they see on the TV. So when you see people gobbing on the football field, because normally you've seen a player on the field gobbing on. I mean, why they got a spit, I do not know, but they do. Having to go at the referee, like you see these things, and even as an adult, it becomes sort of in your subconscious, and you don't mind turning around and giving some to the ref because you've not seen the respect at the highest level given. So why would you, as you just said, not playing the right game, you know, the pro game? Why would you fucking give them?
I reffed Martin an under 13s game this season for my son, and I had to book 2 of his teammates, but 2 for fouls, but they lost the plot. And then they were questioning me. This is kids who are 12 and 13 years of age.
I'll question you as well.
Questioning me. And I said to I said to the guy, my mate Gary, I tell you what, I said, get another ref next time. I'm not reffing them. Not reffing them.
I see this as a long-term issue. You know, I look back to when I started watching football in the 70s. You wouldn't get none of this. But Sir Bobby would not have had any of this shit. Yeah, going into the 80s, you've got Alex Ferguson. He would have had none of this shit. His players would have been down the road first. Yeah,
Ferguson, he was one of the worst, Jimmy. He was one of the worst for criticising referees.
Yeah, but he didn't let his players do it that much.
He did. What about when Roy Keane and they hounded him right to the other side of the pitch and surrounded him?
All right, hang on. All right.
Aren't we? And I'm on about progression. We're talking in the 70s, it was rarely happening. In the 80s, it started getting a bit more. Yeah, in the 90s, it got a bit more. And it's gradually getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and no one's shutting it down. It could have been shut down years ago. You know, Cantona, you're banned. Yeah, Keane, you're banned. No, because there were bloody big stars that put bums on seats and more people were too scared to say, shut the fuck up. Yeah, so everybody thought, well, I'm a big player now. I can do that as well. I'm a big player. And there's more and more big players. So there's more and more people who think they can do what the bloody hell they like. It's mission creep. It gets bigger and bigger the longer it goes.
Completely agree. Jimmy, I love you as always. Crunch, you stay there in case Adam doesn't reappear. How would you sort of move it on then, Vicky, in terms of the football world? What would your course of action be? Because as Jimmy says, it's a long-term issue and it needs to change.
I'd make them up. Let's hear what they've got to say. I'm not bothered about some swear words, so yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest,
go on.
When we're allowed in the grounds, there's 30,000 people shouting at the ref anyway. So yeah, make them up. Let's hear what they've got to say.
You're probably one of the worst, Vicky.
It's become it's sad, really, isn't it, that a player can call a referee a ball, cheating, see you next Tuesday, and that's acceptable now. It's just accepted. It's quite sad, really, when you think about it.
A bigger sign to the rest of us in the public world and how the society appears to be crumbling. But I won't, because that sounds like my dad too much.
So if you're in the street, Adam, if you're in the street and someone come up to you and called you a bald C, what would you do?
I suppose it depends how big they were. But, all right.
Fair point.
But yeah, it's just like nobody would say that. Nobody would say, not normally, unless they maybe got a few beers into them. Normally, most sane people walking down the street, you wouldn't say that to somebody, would you? It's just it's sort of like the mob mentality, isn't it? You get into a football stadium and then suddenly it's acceptable to do it with. Oh, I've done it as well. You know, I'm not saying I'm whiter than white. I've called the ref all sorts and stuff. And when I played when I was younger, I've had set twos with refs where I've moved off. That's just, it's not right. It's not right at all. But it's just, I remember. Do you remember? Do you remember it was an old Irish referee called Billy? Do you remember him? He used to referee around Suffolk. Do you remember him?
Was he
Does he ring any bells? No, he used to. I used to play football up there used to be an old cricket stadium in Ipswich on Henley Road. He used to play there, and he used to ref in there, and he was atrocious. But he was about 90 years old, poor bloke, and he was getting dogs abuse in there in that kind of setting. And it's like, it's just. And that was back, I mean, Christ, I'm 35, and this is going back, 20 years possibly. and he was getting dogs abuse then. You know, it's something that's been in football for years. It's not likely to change anytime soon, I don't think.
You've got to be a deterrent at some point, though, Vicky, because I'm the worst. When I played, I was the worst. I was always in the I was captain, so I could, but I was always in the referee's ear. They saw me before the game. Oh God, not you again! But because I wanted to win at all costs, I play Just Dance many years ago. Never again. Once only, my wife would play Just Dance with me because I was not winning, and I need to win. I just like to win at everything I do.
Throw your toys out the pram.
A big time.
Not quite like Matt Phillips.
Not quite Matt Phillips style, no. But you see me in the chat, Crunch. I get a chip on my shoulder. It makes me work harder. I like to win.
Yeah. Oh, look, football's a passionate game, and to say you got to stop, they'll never stop swearing. There's no chance that they'll ever.
Where there's passion, there's going to be heat and swear words, isn't there? Well, there is.
So, is it the deterrent? You know, if I swore at a copper, Vicky, I would obviously be a breach of the peace, etc. So, is it about time we got tough with the players and when they hear it, don't square up to them, obviously, but straight red, 3-game ban, then their team can deal with the fallout of it. Yeah,
but you're going to end up sending everybody off. Yeah. The thing with the swearing at police officers, they have to have a degree of. If somebody comes up to you and swears at you as a police officer, you can give them a warning and you can say, look, go away, stop swearing, otherwise I'm going to do you for Section 5 or whatever it is. But you can't do that in football then. Give them a warning. Say, right, here's a warning. Next time you're off.
Yeah. Or maybe a warning, Adam, would be to the manager. Look, I've warned him.
Okay.
If I hear anything else, it'll be a straight red. This is your only chance to get him off if you feel like he's going to carry it on. If he does hear anything at all, he's off. Like we've got to get at some point, nip it in the bud and say, yes, we might have a game end 7v7, but it won't the following week. I can promise you that. Like when they sent off Jonas Kunderson for that handbags in the 18-yard box at Reading, they did that once and never bothered again. Like you've got to do it once, and then
that's what they do. Though they bring these new rules in at the start of the season. We've all seen it. For about 6 games, they'll have a spate of red cards, and then it just sort of goes back to how it was before.
Because it'll be a decision goes against one of the big sides, and you know their influence at the top of the game. They'll have a word with the head of refs and quiet word, and then suddenly the rules are changed. But do they do sin bins in local like amateur football?
Yeah,
they do. All right, maybe. Lee, before we move on, what do you make of this situation?
Well, it's a bloody shambles, isn't it? Bloody shambles, and the ref is defending himself here, and the bit that gets me is the club should have made a statement, in my view, because I think that statement that he made changed.
Hang on. Alan Judge has issued a response. I'm now looking at the statement. You carry on, Lee, and I'll find out what he's finding.
Well, it's too late now because it's done, isn't it? He's had his hearing. I reckon on the day when they know that when he turns up with his solicitor, because or the referees association person that's helped him write his statement, it's worded very, very cleverly. And in the end, when they knew that Judge or the club weren't going to offer any evidence against it, he can pretty much say what he likes because that's what happens. I mean, he said there was no contact, but there's only one camera angle. So how would he know? And as you've already said, as to say, well, that's the worst abuse he's ever had. Well, he must have had that every season because that goes on and on and on all the time. And again, why did he send him off? Should have sent him off, shouldn't he? And what would happen to Judge if that had been the other way around, or Judge or any player goes up to the ref and puts his head up against him? You're talking months, aren't you? They would be out for months.
How long did Di Canio get, Lee, when he pushed Paul Alcott?
I don't know. Did he get 9 games or something like that?
I think it's about 9 or 10. The thing is, look, we're talking about all this. It should have been a penalty. If you look at it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Judge got his legs took away from him.
Yeah, on the TWTD site. So sorry, mate.
I'd admit using the F word, but I said to him, you've got to be effing joking me. And I said that a couple of times to him. I never used the C word. I don't use that word. And I didn't call him a cheat. Our media team have got some audio and it backs me up. Some people have said I should have come out straight away and explain what I said, but I didn't want to do that. I was trying to help.
Nothing
Darren.
about him being called bald, though.
No.
No.
Well, no.
So
So
that backs my point up, because
That's
had that statement been available on the day of the hearing, then his statement, Drysdale's statement, would have been different. No question about it. He wouldn't have said that. Once he knew there was going to be no other evidence, and that was going to be the only statement that would have been heard at the hearing, he can say what he likes, because there's nothing to rebut it, and that's as simple as that. And Judge was class in the end, really, wasn't he? Because he didn't want to make nothing of it. He made nothing of it after the game. But if I was him now, I'd be absolutely fuming.
He tried to help him, didn't he, Lee? He's tried to help the ref.
Yeah, and he's hung him out to dry. He's hung him out to dry, because they would have had the audio, but they wouldn't have needed to have the audio available, because there's no one arguing against him. No. It's just his statement on the day.
Lee,
so
how many cookies did you eat today in the end? That's more important.
Five of the bloody big ones as well.
You ate five?
Five of the
on your own?
Ones. Yeah, in about less than a minute, probably.
A packet of how many?
That's them, the Tesco ones in the packets. They're not the small ones. As soon as Callie buggered off...
Five in the packet.
There's 5 in the packet.
There's 8 in the packet, I think. As soon as Callie buggered off... As soon as Callie buggered off to the bloody shop and got his cookies, that was it. I was straight in the cupboard.
Man. All right, let's move on to Plymouth. Stay there, Lee. You can join us for this. Vicky, Plymouth at the weekend. Lee Cook, Paul Cook, his brother Paul, and it was coming at some point. Bloody name. Cookie. Fucking Adam, man.
He's gone again.
Hasn't won a game of football for Ipswich Town Football Club yet. Came in off the back of 3 wins. This weekend's going to be the weekend, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm usually quite negative when it comes to us. But I think we'll get a win. Plymouth haven't won since, I think it's the 9th of February. So I think that we'll get a win, definitely. I don't think it'll be by much. I think we'll probably only score 1. But I think we'll win.
Yeah, okay. Crunch, do you see many changes to the lineup? I mean, you're the one in the know, obviously, so I think that's what I'll ask you.
I think Judge might come in. Look, I'm not sure who for. I hope Jack gets another game, because I think he done all right the other day. These young players, we can't judge him on 60 minutes. He's not played football for 6-7 weeks, probably first team football. He's played the other 23s game. I think we'll win Saturday. It's a must-win game. It is Plymouth at home. I like Ryan Lowe. I think he's done a really good job at Plymouth. They're not going to go down. They're going to have a solid first season in this league, but we really should be putting these teams to bed at home. I think it'll be a 2-0 Saturday. I think we'll have a comfortable afternoon. I think Chambers might score.
Same question for you, Adam. Do you see many changes for the weekend?
I don't think he'll make too many. I think he'll. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes with the same side that started the other night. Maybe Lancaster being switched out, maybe Edwards or Bennett, but I don't see many changes, to be fair. I was looking at Plymouth. They've lost like 4 of the last 6. We've got to be beating this lot, really. If we've got any chance of pushing into the playoffs, we've got to be turning this lot over, really. So yeah, interesting. They've got that Jeff Cott, haven't they? 16 goals. They've got that Connor Grant, who we had on loan, who's quite good. So I think he's got 9 assists. Danny Mayer.
He played for us. How many games did he play for us, Adam? Connor Grant?
Not many.
For 45 minutes, I think, wasn't it? Oh, there we go. There we go. Lee, how about yourself? What do you see happening this Saturday? I love it. You've got to keep coming back. It's like Adam Roulette. At some point, he's going to go. It's just when. Lee,
I'd bring Parrott in. I'd bring Parrott in for
who?
For Bishop. That would be definitely one I'd make.
He did all right the weekend, though. To be fair,
he did all right, and I rate Bishop, but I think it's quite a good. I suppose it's an experiment really to play him as sort of like the number 10 role, wasn't it? But I would have him in the 3, Bishop, and I would keep Parrott in, and a lot of people give Edwards a lot of stick, but he was against that Olympic sprinter, wasn't he? And he at least he was direct, and he tried to beat his fullback, and he had a bit of. Why didn't we go for him, Lee? That Connor Bramall, he's down the road. This has got
got my goat a little bit. He was at Colchester, right on our doorstep, and there's another one we've let slip through our fingers.
Yeah, you just think about it. I mean, what are they doing down the road that we're not? I mean, they came Vincent Young, didn't they, at fullback, and now they've got this lad as well. Where are they getting them from? I was thought of that the other day. I mean, yeah, bring in, well, we know all about the recruitment policy, and the lad who scored the goal as well. We were after him as well.
With him.
Or
Yeah,
linked with him as well, perhaps.
Rodgers.
But you just don't know. But yeah, I mean, fullbacks are so important, aren't they, in the modern day game? And the way they bombed on at the weekend, they really put us under pressure first half, I think. But yeah, I wouldn't change. I would have Edwards in still.
There's lots of chat about a high scoreline. The last time I saw that was Northampton, and that ended 0-0.
Do you say high scoreline or high hairline?
No, well, I can't comment on that one, my friend. My forward gets further back every time I come online. A high scoreline. Do you think it'll be a free scoring affair, a 3-0, 4-0, or do you think it'll be a tight game?
2-1, maybe. I can't see us scoring loads of goals still. It's the Cook's talking a different game. He's saying the same things but in a different way. But really, you would think, I know he's not had a lot of time on the training pitch, but you would think he'd have been able to G the players up. It's just the group we've got. The mix doesn't seem quite right, does it, at the moment?
No.
So I wouldn't, if we score 3 goals a get before the end of the season in one game, I'd be surprised. I think we're looking at 2-0s. Things like that will be the best we'll get, if I'm being honest.
Would you stick with Holy in goal this weekend, Vicky, or would you make that change and go with Di Cornell?
God, they're both shit, aren't they? Now,
Stick them both in.
I'd rather put my grandmother in there, and she's dead. Well,
at least she'll stay in the box, won't she? At least she won't go wandering out the box.
Where are you going with that, Lee? Oh, no.
Sorry.
Oh, you can pinpoint the moment you've regretted saying that halfway through the sentence. You almost stopped.
There's a good comment there from Neil Emsden. We need to shoot more. We do need to shoot more around the box.
True.
Like Stuart Slater said, we're not going to score the perfect goal. Have a few hot shots. Like that one I sent you this morning, Martin, on the when we beat them in the FA Cup, and Neil Thompson scored an absolute thunderbolt. We have to hit the ball more. Have a few shots from outside the box.
Matheson at right back for you, Adam, or would you stick with Chambers, Enciala, Wilson, and Kenlock?
See, I like Matheson. I think Paul Cook's openly said that he likes playing with attacking fullbacks, but I think he's loath to change too much at the moment. But I don't know. It's a tricky one. I'm not really sure what he's going to do, to be honest. I think I'm going to sit on the fence with that one. I think probably Chambers keeps his place because I think it's just Chambers. I think it's just I think Cook's come out and I think he said, Callie, yeah, if he wants to start a GoFundMe for my Wi-Fi, that would be greatly appreciated. It's getting volleyed up North Ipswich tonight, I'll tell you that, Router, when I've finished on here.
Oh, jeez. Midfield then. Lee wants Bishop out, Parrott in. Vicky, would you keep Bishop? Would you go with Lee there and bring Parrott back into the side? Or maybe someone else?
No, I like Bishop. I think he should definitely stay. I don't think he did a bad job in the week. So, yeah, I think he should stay, definitely. Bring in Edwards. I'd like to see Jackson come on, play more of a part. And I think he will, actually.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Especially
Score
because
prediction?
Norwood's not going to be there next week.
No, he's not. Score prediction?
2-0.
Who,
2-0.
me?
Yes, please.
1-0 for me.
1-0. Okay, that goes completely against the chat. They're going 3, 4, 5-0. Crunch, how about yourself?
No.
Oh, it's interesting that the last 6 goals we scored have all come from set plays. So obviously that's something that we need to get goals from wherever because look, I'm not Norwood's biggest fan, but Callie was quite critical of him on Tuesday, which I thought was really unfair because he's got to have the service, hasn't he? He can't do it all on his own. If you create some chances, he'll score goals. He'll miss some. He's a League One striker after all. But if you give him 3 chances in a game, he'll put at least one of them away. Saturday, I'll go 2-0 Town, comfortable victory. And Chambers will play every game until the end of the season. There you go.
Yay!
Chambers will play because of the set pieces, but I think 2-1 because I thought Plymouth played quite well against us last time. So I'm thinking 2-1.
Paul, are you related to Aaron Drennan? Are you related to him? Let me know. Adam?
He's got. He heard us talking earlier, Martin. He's put money on trying and getting an Ireland call up in a couple of years' time. He's got good odds on trying and
Can't
playing
wait
for
to see
Ireland in a few
you
years'
in
time.
your pants.
As Roy
Can't wait to
Keane
see you in your
said,
Tanga
anybody
briefs.
who can trap a ball can get a cap these days. That's what Roy Keane said.
Don't change the subject.
Tighty whities, mate.
Tighty what? Oh my lord! Oh no! What a thought!
No, I mean, like regarding Norwood, and I've said this before about a lot of our players. I think sometimes our supporters expect too much out of our players. They're League One. They are flawed. They're not very good at certain things. Norwood's isn't. His flaw is scoring one-on-ones or whatever. But I think the problem is, whilst he is a flawed striker, there's no one else holds a torch to him at the club that is better than him. Are we gonna go in with Drinan now? Are we gonna go in with Hawkins, Simpson? I mean, I don't think Jackson can play that central striker role. So I think it's not. I think we've just got to try and wrap Norwood in cotton wool when he's fit and get him through to the end of the season. Just hope we can create him some chances. Really, enough chances for him to make a difference.
Ashley Bell. Hopefully Jackson will get a half hour at least this weekend, needing match ready for Fleetwood. Absolutely. Facebook user play Norwood and Jackson up front and will score more than one goal.
Not happening.
I think that's Mike Brown just withholding his name.
Not happening. My mum watched that this afternoon, Martin. The full-time show from Tuesday.
That was crazy.
Mike was absolutely on helium.
He was. Mike did put Jackson on the left. Okay. And Daniel Barnard, to close the show, says, "Scoot."
Daniel Barnard, get in the bin.
There you go. We're done with us. We're back 2:30 with the matchday ticket live. Myself, Coxie, Peter Cox, and the King Kelly Bisler.
Will you burn the poster between now and then?
Time to say goodbye.